What's up, guys? My name is Alex. Today we're going to be going over a article of the Warhammer community team interviewing the Legions Imperialis miniatures designers. You're watching Epic News, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Legions Imperialis designer interview. Just how did they make these tanks so small? The vast armies of Legions Imperialis are mustering closer than you think. It's just they're so small, they seem very far away. We've covered every miniature in the launch box and a few more, and we've taken a epic scale walk down memory lane. So now we come to the crux of the matter. Just how do they make the tanks that small? Is there some sort of debigulation machine? Is the big Warhammer secret really an army of trained ants wielding tiny sculpting tools? Okay, I'm going to be real. These two jokes did not hit. They're meant for like 5-year-olds. But anyway, to uncover the mysteries of these formations of intricate infantry and tiny tanks, we spoke to Andy from the Warhammer Design Studio on camera and Darren from the team for some follow-up written questions. I'm not going to play this video because of copyright reasons, but if you'd like to watch it for yourself, I will put a link in the description. In the video, he basically just says you can use contrast paint on them, which is a big advantage, um, and that a big challenge was designing the models not as individual miniatures, but more of like having in mind the grand scale of things that people are going to be playing these with like 100 plus infantry. So how will one model look within a picture of 100 like plus infantry? All right. So the first question. So tell us what exactly are the settings on the debugulation machine? Again, the, they went for the joke once. They used it twice. It's just a bad joke. All right. I am sorry to reveal that there is no such machine. Scaling our sculpts down to epic scale is an interesting challenge. The initial step of resizing them is relatively easy, but the real challenge is figuring out how to retain the essence of each kit compared with their Horus Heresy counterparts. We also have to take into account that what every force will look like on the table when fielded in large numbers, and how much effort that will take for a player to create. It's very much a balancing act. What challenges did you face? What challenges did you face making miniatures in this scale? There is a little compromise between accurately representing the detail of the larger kits and making something that people will enjoy putting together, painting, and playing with. By necessity, certain aspects have to change for technical and aesthetic reasons. You can't expect people to make a 6-part tactical marines in a game that requires hundreds to play. So simple infantry are the way forward. So yeah, so what they're saying is these Marines are not going to be like multi-part kits. It's just going to be like one guy is one piece. So for like ease of putting it together, especially when you're supposed to have a lot of these dudes. The next step is deciding which elements really define each kit and make them identifiable at epic scale. Take the Solar Auxilia tanks. They have certain aspects that define them at the Horus Heresy scale: rivets, trim, and archaic element design elements that have to be retained even if it isn't strictly accurate. If you measure a rivet on a Legion's Imperialis Malcador, it won't be the quote right size, but it's visually important that it feels right. What did Adeptus Titanicus and Aeronautica Imperialis teach you about designing at this scale? We found early on that if you want to translate details and design elements to a smaller size, you really need to know what they look like at the full size first. You can design a model exclusively for Titanicus, Aeronautica, or Legions Imperialis, but identifying exactly what makes a unit retain its identity, then shrunk down, and you're forced to make decisions with certain details is a lot harder this way. We conceptualize things that with artwork and so on, much like how we might have started on a 3 upscale model back in the day. It's important to us that everything is consistent across both sizes so that players can envisage and even create their armies in both systems. With nearly all of the miniatures in Legions Imperialis having a direct counterpart in Horus Heresy, how did this affect design? As I've mentioned, one thing we are really keen on is players and collectors being able to look at their collections in one system and directly recreate it in another. Naturally, this is restricted a little by what's available, but you could feasibly take your Legions Astartes collection and downsize it into a single detachment in Legions Imperialis. We also wanted to ensure that this new system continues to fill out the Horus Heresy setting. The book talks about battles of incredible scale at the time, or scale all the time, and you'll soon be able to play them out in all their grandeur on the tabletop. But being able to pick out a Predator tank and make the link between the design of that miniature and your full size Predator helps ground it all. So they say this thing right here. The books talk about excuse me, the books talk about battles of incredible scale all the time. So one of them that comes to mind is Chondax with the white scars and the orcs. So, and I know that there's other encounters with Xenos races. So I wonder if we could see those Xenos races potentially. I don't think that we will for like a long time because I know that they've already said they would like to get all of the like Astartes units basically first. But hopefully that's just some wishful thinking. Which are your favorite miniatures? Honestly, it's the Solar Auxilia tanks for me. I love the originals, and picking the elements to keep as we resize them really helped convey just how different they are from the tanks of the Space Marines. These are tanks that are polished up and painted to parade standard, then sent out to fight terrible wars. Yeah, I agree. These guys look awesome. I'm really excited to get my hands on some of the Lehman Russet tanks because I have a couple of my own for Big 40K. So it's going to be cool to have the little toy versions of them. On the whole, we're incredibly proud of how the miniatures have turned out. It's hard to put into words, but designing them to have all this detail on gives them a sort of impact that's very different from the usual sized models we make. I've still got the Aeronautica Imperialis Thunderhawk gunship on my desk at work because it is such a breakthrough moment in the amount of detail we could convey on a miniature of that size. And it has an impact that's very different from the full-sized ones. Plus, it's a lot easier to put next to my computer, unlike the colossal Forge World Flyer. That's very true, actually. I can relate to that. So I just moved into my college dorm for this year, and I brought my Aeronautica models, but I didn't bring any of my like normal 40K guys because they're just too big. But all right, thanks, Darren. We're continuing to look at Legions Imperialis later this week with the Solar Auxilia Spotlight on Heresy Thursday, and more articles over the coming weeks as we get closer to the release. So this right here, this picture of the Thunderhawk is really, really big because it shows the base. So this is something that I was wondering about the other day and how they were gonna make the transition of the bases over to this new game system. I'm not exactly sure what base size this is, but I'm gonna try to find out as best I can and then try to put out a video of how you can convert these like Aeronautica flight stands and your Aeronautica models into the game without having to buy these bases. But we will see on that. So there's not a whole lot of takeaways from this other than uh, one of the big things that they had in mind when they were designing this game is simplicity of the models to build because you're going to need a lot of them, and making sure that they had the key aspects of each of the kits. So, like for the command squad, what defines the command squad? Having a leader, and then like having a banner guy usually, right? So then they made sure to translate that over into Epic. So that's it for this video, guys. I apologize that there was a delay in my uploads of videos, but now I'm moved into my college dorm, so the videos will be uploaded regularly, and hopefully I will get caught up within the next few days of all of these articles that have been released. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content. I've been Alex Hune, and you've been watching One Up Paintings Epic News. Thank you so much for watching, and happy wargaming.